Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
And welcome to the Double R Show. Double R here along with son Paul, and it is going to be a special program. We have some powerful guests going to be on board with us.
Yeah, three of them actually, right? So we've got the mayor from Lincoln City.
Yep.
And then, of course, Representative Gomberg and Senator Anderson are also both joining us from the road.
On the road again, so to speak. They are on their way to Klamath Falls when we record this interview. But it is very informative because they're talking about exactly what's happening as we speak in Salem. We will be back and do the interviews or play the interviews for you. But first, I'd like to remind everybody and invite you to a special activity that's going to be taking place at St. Peter the Fisherman Lutheran Church. It is their annual spectacular, spectacular rummage sale. Clothes, dishes, linen, small appliances, and a whole lot more. This is going to be Friday and Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd. So put it on your calendar. 9 to 3 on Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday. And we also, on Saturday, have a half-price sale. That's $1 a bag. That'll be from 2 until 3 on Saturday. Lunch is served both days, 11 to 2, and all proceeds go to the mission projects of St. Peter the Fisherman Lutheran Church right here in Lincoln City. So be at the rummage sale and be here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Zantello Law Group has moved. I'm Josh Zantello, and our law firm is now located across from the Lincoln City Community Center on Northeast 21st. Our law firm of knowledgeable professionals stand ready to assist you in life's matters.
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries. The state of the city of Lincoln City, Mayor Susan Wahlke is here. And in a couple of words, Mayor Wahlke, state of the city is?
Prospering.
Prospering. I like that word.
Yes. Our budget for the upcoming fiscal year is $103 million.
$103 million? Yes. Really?
Yep.
That's a staggering figure.
It is. I think last year was $98 million, and that seemed like a lot, but now we've reached over 100.
In $103 million, why?
Because things are going well. We are collecting a lot of lodging tax because people like to come visit and stay overnight. We also have a staff that is very good at finding opportunities for grants, and that really helps.
Especially Parks and Rec.
Yes.
And I guess the planning department is after that as well.
Yes.
So you can't just say.
And Public Works.
Public Works,
yeah.
Okay.
We got a big grant to do our watershed protection study, and now the proposed budget sets aside money to acquire some of our watershed land.
So that $103 million would include the grants that the city is able to get from wherever?
That 103 includes grants that we are certain of.
Okay.
There could be more money coming in with grants we don't know about yet.
Wow. You spoke in front of the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary, the Kiwanis Club, all carrying the same message about the state of the city. And anything in particular that you want to hone in on?
How things are moving along. Some things take a long time to move along, and others get done pretty fast. There's just lots of reasons that things take time. There are things happening now that were started 8 years ago. It just takes time to get things done.
And speaking of getting things done, I'm sorry to say that you did announce that city manager has stepped down.
Yes, she has an opportunity to care for family, and she's in a position that she's able to get away from the workforce for a little while and do that. And I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, congratulations to Daphne Lagarza. I do enjoy visiting with her and interviewing her because she is so open about what's going on at City Hall.
She is a great communicator.
Now what?
We have an opportunity for city manager pro tem for a 6-month period, and then we will begin our search for a permanent city manager.
So that could be somebody that is a retired city manager or a current employee or what?
There are several retired city managers who do fill in as interim city managers, and this is an opportunity if one of them wants to send us a letter.
As Mayor Wahlke looks at hiring a new city manager, which you did make mention in your remarks, you've only got 3 people you actually hire.
The council hires, yes.
Yes, the city
the 7
council
of us.
and the mayor, yes.
The 7 of us hire the city manager, the city attorney, and the municipal judge. And we've hired one of each since I've been mayor, and we will be hiring another city manager.
Anything that you would disclose at this point in time or could disclose at this time that you would be most interested in the qualification for that new city manager?
I'm looking for someone who works as part of a team. We have a great team, and I want to find a team leader.
A team is critically important when you got a budget of $103 million and how many employees offhand?
A lot.
A lot.
So I was giving a presentation a year ago at a conference and talking about all the grants and wonderful things that our city was doing, and someone from a small city said, "And what's your staff?" I said, "A lot more than your city, sorry."
and a lot less than Portland.
Yes.
And
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot, and a lot less than Portland. Mayor Wahlke, again, congratulations on the next year, if you will, stepping up. I don't know how you do it and continue to do it, but thank you for doing what you and the rest of the council do as volunteers.
Thank you. I appreciate the community support.
Hello, this is Paul Robertson with Robertson Environmental, and as a Taft graduate, I'm just asking people to renew, repair, and reinvest in our local schools. The new bond measure is a reinvestment opportunity that will not raise your taxes and just help to repair and update our local schools for health, safety, security, and more. So again, vote yes for schools.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, "The service was friendly and efficient." Another writes, "La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food."
On the phone with us is Senator Dick Anderson, and Senator Anderson, we're pre-recording this for later play, but right now you're on I-5 headed towards Klamath Falls.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Roger. I've got a full Ways and Means community listening program tonight in Klamath Falls. Ways and Means being the budget committee for the state. So we're listening, and we've been going around the state having these listening tours to hear about the needs of the community directly from the community. So for me, it makes a big difference.
Is there been any surprises in that so far, Dick, to you? Needs, wants, desires, questions?
Good question. Not any surprises. I guess for me, it's the magnitude of the need, and it really hits to, for me, livability, community livability kind of issues, infrastructure, healthcare, concerns around education, and it's not surprising. It's just, boy, the volume of ask is amazing.
Volume of asks is amazing. You say like what?
Well, for dollars. So
I see.
Most of these are dollar asks because their respective communities can't afford the total cost of the infrastructure or whatever the need is.
Now, you probably will not be able to finalize a budget until the final revenue forecast comes out, but that doesn't come for another week or two, correct?
That's correct. It's I think it's the 17th of May that last economic forecast is given, and that will clarify, how much money the state really has available and then do the allocation out. Quite frankly, a lot of the policy bills that I've seen this session have what's called fiscal. They have money asks attached to them.
Mm-hmm,
So they've just been piled up in what we call Ways and Means, waiting for any kind of ability of money.
Before this piece runs on our Double R show, you will have carried a bill through the Senate for housing. It's a major piece of legislation you've been pushing, correct?
Very much so. Actually, I've got three major housing bills. One of them has already made it through the Senate and is over on the House side, and it has to do with apprenticeship for building inspectors. So, that's on the run, hoping to get through the House side.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's two other bills. One, when this airs, hopefully has cleared the Senate chamber. It's 974. It's a fast track for raw inside the urban growth boundary to develop raw land into housing ready kind of development. Right now, that process takes a good 2 to 3 years. My bill, cuts that down to 1 year, which should help. The other bill and final one is actually a similar fast track bill for building permits. It proposes and directs cities, municipalities to generate housing permits within 45 days. So what we're trying to do is just, get this stuff, ready to go, not let the bureaucracy of government slow down our need for housing and getting sticks in the air.
There is a growing need for housing in all economic sectors, is there not?
You're exactly right, Roger. It's not just the income-restricted affordable housing. It's the middle housing. It's, by surprise, even market rate, housing. And you can tell that, actually, with the building permits that have, been issued in 2024 and now in 2025 are actually way below, our previous running rate of some 20,000 permits. Now they're like 15,000. So, it's not getting any better is the problem.
Any other major pieces of legislation coming forth in the next couple of weeks, Dick, that you'd like to expound upon?
We're getting an onslaught from the House. So there'll be a lot of House bills coming across, and they'll filter to appropriate Senate committees and then go to the floor or go off to, if they haven't already, the Ways and Means, waiting for the last kind of 60 days of the legislature.
Oh, I lost you for a minute, Senator Anderson.
Oh, Mike, okay, I'm sorry. Must be in no man's land.
Out there in the great beyond. I think I'm probably going to let you go because we seem to be in that quagmire, if you will, of poor sound all of a sudden.
Sorry, Roger, I couldn't. Let's find another date.
We'll do it again and again and again because there is just so much to talk about, and it is so critically important. So drive careful to K Falls, Klamath Falls. Listen well, and we'll talk to you again when you get back on the Oregon coast.
Okay. Thank you, Roger.
Senator Dick Anderson, back in a moment.
Home-style cooking in a hometown atmosphere. Hi, I'm Adina from Zeller's Restaurant in Rose Lodge in Lincoln City. Join us daily for good fun and great food. You can even kick up your heels at Zeller's.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
On the phone is David Gomberg, State Representative, and he is on his way to Klamath Falls. David, by the time this piece airs, you'll be back in Lincoln City and Salem, but on to Cave Falls for what?
Well, I'm a member, I'm the vice chair of the Ways and Means Committee. That's the budget committee. And we have been traveling around Oregon on a series of hearings to listen to Oregonians and find out how they think we should be spending their tax money. Mm-hmm. So we have been to Astoria, we've been to Gresham, we've been to La Grande, we've been to Warm Springs, and this final program is going to be in Klamath Falls. It's really interesting to go to these meetings and have people lined up to talk about tax expenditures. And wherever we go in Oregon, I've observed that we're hearing largely the same messages, that we need to take care of our schools, that we need to provide health care and Medicare support through the Oregon Health Plan, that we need to take care of our roads, and that local infrastructure is a big deal for small towns that can't afford big projects. So I expect that'll be the message we get tonight in Klamath Falls as well.
By the time this piece airs, you will already be back. What do you really expect to hear from the people of Eastern Oregon?
Well, again, I think a big part of this is local infrastructure.
Okay.
And we have seen this here on the coast. We've been very successful in bringing money home for sewer and water systems, for ports, for new parks, the planned new visitor center at the D River Wayside in Lincoln City.
Right.
I mean, those are expensive projects, and small towns can't afford that. I mean, when Lincoln City is looking at $2 million for the new cultural center, that just doesn't pencil out unless we can get help from the state, which is exactly what we did.
Now, you got help, or Lincoln City got help from the state on that project. You, as the state, look to the federal government for assistance as well. How is that looking to you?
Well, the last couple of years, we've had a lot of money available to us, which is reflected in the successes that we've brought home. This year, that's changing, with federal grants being canceled or withdrawn, with extra dollars not being available. I'll give you one example. 2 years ago in the legislative session, by this stage, we had forwarded more than 30 grant applications to the federal government, because when a state agency asks for money from the feds, it has to be approved by the legislature. 30 proposals 2 years ago. This legislative session so far, we have only advanced 8 applications because those grants simply are not available.
Boy, that could begin to hurt.
Well, it certainly will. It's interesting to see the programs that had previously been approved by the Biden administration that have been withdrawn by the Trump administration in grants passed in Medford and Astoria, closer to home, a housing project in Tillamook County, all of those dollars being canceled. So the belt tightening at the federal level is having an effect here locally.
This morning, again, this piece is being recorded ahead of time. We had an opportunity to listen to both you and Senator Anderson on a Zoom call, if you will, that covered not only Lincoln, but some of the other counties in the immediate area. I asked you the question, have you heard of any programs that are looking for funding and they're offering ways to be funded differently than what has been in the past?
Well, Roger, we can come up with all kinds of creative ways to take your money. And at the end of the day, it's still your money and it's costing you something. The challenge is to find those attractive taxes that somebody else pays, like the lodging tax that is collected by hotels, motels, and vacation rentals here at the coast. That's money that somebody else pays. There are precious few opportunities for us to find other ways to do that. As we look at how we're going to pay for our roads and bridges, I have said that I am not particularly opposed to the idea of tolling, because about a third of the vehicles we see on our local streets have out-of-state license plates.
Right.
And all the other proposals that are being suggested, pay by the mile, increased registration fees, additional fees on electric vehicles, even a tax on new cars, all of those are things that Oregonians pay, and I want to make sure all of our visitors are paying as well. Now, let me go back for a moment to the lodging tax, because there's an interesting conversation evolving in Salem about how we use those dollars. Right now, the law says that 70% of it has to be used for advertising or tourism infrastructure, and the cities are asking if we can have a larger portion of that available for the other things that tourists are costing us when they come to town, for police or emergency support from the fire department, for filling our potholes, for trash pickup. All of those are expenses that we are bearing when tourists come to visit. And I very much appreciate the tourism industry, but we've got to find a better way of dispersing the dollars that they leave behind so that local taxpayers are not picking up all the extra slack.
I think the League of Oregon Cities is supporting your position. The Hotel Association obviously is going to be in opposition, correct?
Well, that's the way it's playing out, and I mean, it's the way it's played out for years. The Lodging Association says, no, spend the money on advertising. The cities are saying, give us a piece of it. Mm-hmm. I think the conversation is refined quite a bit so that this session we're going to have a very interesting hearing, probably in about 2 weeks, as the cities ask for more of this money. I'm suggesting that when we talk about the 70% for tourism, that we include public safety in that, so that we've got some extra money for the police force we need, not for the 10,000 people that live here, but for the 50,000 people that will be here on any summer weekend.
One final question, David, before we let you go, because we want you to keep your hands on the steering wheel as you drive to Klamath Falls. During the course of this session, you wind up in the role of Speaker of the House or running the chamber sessions numerous times. Why is that?
Well, I was honored to be elected by the other members of the House to be what we call the Speaker Pro Tem. Speaker Pro Tem, I tell people, it's like being Vice President. Everybody knows who you are, nobody knows what you do. But the fact of the matter is that I have been asked to preside over the House floor sessions almost every day. And it's interesting to be up at the front of the room and managing the details of the floor session as they evolve. I am pleased to tell you that we are not seeing a lot of conflict, friction, or shenanigans. We're not seeing any indication of walkouts. We're not seeing delaying tactics like requiring bills be read in their entirety. We're not seeing major fights on the floor. We may see them before we're done, but for now, everything is running smoothly, and I believe as it should be. So there we are. We're at the stage of session right now where most of the policy bills that are going to make it to the finish line are at least on the move. That means that we passed deadlines, and from the 3,000 bills we started with, we're down to, maybe 800 that are still being worked. Those are going to continue to advance, but the big news for the next few weeks is going to be the budget.
All right, David, we do appreciate you taking time to visit with us on the way to Klamath Falls. Look forward to your report when you return.
Looking forward to that as well. Thank you so much, Roger.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. And our special thanks to Chinook Winds Casino Resort, celebrating big time in June, Paul, because they've got a couple of huge names coming to Chinook Winds. Jay Leno, Arsenio Hall.
Right.
What a program.
Right. And last week we weren't able to say who that was, but they have released those names. So when you get Arsenio Hall as your backup comedian, I think you've got a pretty big billing there, yeah.
Jay Leno, Arsenio Hall, same billing at Chinook Woods Casino Resort coming up in June. If you haven't already bought your tickets, I would highly encourage you to get up to the casino and buy them because they're going to be gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, this is a great 30th anniversary celebration for Chinook Winds again. And the date, June 20th?
June 20th.
June 20th.
Right here in Lincoln City. Backed up by fireworks, backed up by anniversary cake. I mean, there's prizes that they'll have, drawings, and on and on and on. We're going to have Heather Hatton back here again to talk about all of the activities going to be taking place at Chinook Winds for their 30th anniversary. Doesn't seem like they've been here all that long already. 30 years.
That's impressive.
30 years.
Big impact over the last 3 decades, and another 3 decades in the future to be looking forward to.
Just think of all of the jobs that they've created in the families they've supported, the insurances they've paid for over the course of 30 years. So on behalf of Chinook Winds Casino Resort, or for Chinook Winds Casino Resort, I just have to say thank you.
Yeah.
It's better at the beach.
You'll find a book for every occasion at Bob's Beach Books. Something to read as you relax by an open fire? We have it. Studying a particular topic? We have that too. Traveling to a far-off land? Discover it first by reading. Bob's Beach Books in the OceanLake area of Lincoln City? Come discover.
Well, it has been another interesting program to have a state senator, a state representative, and a mayor all on the same program talking about what really affects you and I every single day and will for some time to come.
Yeah, we appreciate all of them taking the time to join us on the Double R Show and, fitting them into their schedules, on the road and in the studio. It's really great. So thank you.
On the road, it was probably some of the lines a little difficult to understand because it just depended upon where they were. But they were on I-5 someplace.
Right. That was confirmed.
Yeah, that was confirmed. Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce Business Conference coming up on June 27th. Talk to Lori if you would like to be one of the sponsors for that event. Got a grand bazaar, a full weekend of festivities at the Lincoln City Cultural Center. This is going to be Friday, May 2 at 6:30. Also, give a hand and help Food Share, Bejeweled. This is an interesting way to raise money. What they do is accept contributions of costume jewelry, any jewelry, and then they sell it off with all of the money going to Food Share. This is going to be on Saturday, May 10th, 10 to 1, and 2 to 4 for the half-price sale at the Central Coast Assembly of God Church down in Newport. So all the proceeds go to support Food Share of Lincoln County. Tiger Tracks 5K run and a 10K run going to be May 4th at Wapiti Park. And this is for the Taft-High Booster Club raising money. And again, I'd like to remind everybody of the spectacular rummage sale sponsored by St. Peter the Fisherman Lutheran Church this Friday and Saturday. Friday 9 to 3, Saturday 9 to 3. Half price all day on Saturday. $1 a bag sale on Saturday as well, 2 to 3. And lunch, they do a marvelous job with lunch. I like the lunch at St. Peter the Fisherman Lutheran Church, right across from the Lincoln City outlets. And the lunch is served 11 until 2. You have another activity that is coming up as well we need to talk about.
Yeah, we're launching the Cascade Head Biosphere Beach Ambassador Program. So this is going to be an event that runs for 8 days, 8 low tide events throughout the summer. But the first one is Saturday, May 3rd, and that low tide is right around noontime. And what it is we're going to have a gentleman down there named Josh Havland, and he's a local filmmaker, actually. He did the Cesara movie that you saw that we did last year.
Yes, right.
Cascade Head Scenic Research Act area. But he's going to be kind of a steward there, right down there at 15th Street at the Tide Pools, Northwest 15th, where you walk down, don't drive down to the beach.
No longer drive down.
Let's never drive on the beach. It's not what the beach is there for. I know it was part of our Oregon law that got the beaches open to the public, but let's just keep them that way. Anyway, so Josh is going to be down there, Northwest 15th Street, Saturday, May 3rd, and then again, Friday, May 23rd, and the rest of the dates are on the Cascade Head website. And he's just going to be there to answer questions, share information about the tide pools, and the biosphere in general. So come on down and see him.
Now, you've also got a lot of children that have been schooled, if you will, in the outdoors.
Right, yeah. So for the last month, we've been hiking 5th and 6th graders up and down a watershed trail that was built there out down at Westwind. And it's a story about the raindrop to sea. And so it follows this raindrop as it rises out of the ocean, lands onto the headlands, and works its way down the watershed. And it's an educational program that we have developed. You can read about it and listen and see all those videos at cascadehead.org, just the education page yourself. So feel free. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is we're also launching another, it's the relaunch of a program. So last year we started the Cascade Head Biosphere Explorance.
Right.
And so that was an event that will run again at Night Park. And the first one is May 9th. And so we have a new host there. We had her on the air last week.
Right, right.
Christina Pasca. And so she'll be leading those biosphere experiences there at Night Park. And so join her any number of days, but starting Friday, May 9th at 10:30 a.m.
Anything else your side of the table?
Yeah, I think we filled it up.
So that'll do it to the doings on a Double R show. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us on the Double R show. For Paul and Jenna, I'm Double R. Have a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.